Ladies and gentlemen, another day of retard Dunistan news. So let's get straight into the news. But before we do, can I yet again remind you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the first issue I want to raise is that some individuals have been suggesting that I got paid to shill for Israel. And if I did get paid to shill for Israel, could somebody send me the check? Because it must have got lost in the post. I have been talking about the Israeli topic, and I made it very clear while I've been talking about the Israeli topic. And that is because, one, it's going to damage South Africa's relationship with the United States. Two, it has all been done on the basis of ideological battles that South Africa cannot afford to fight. And three, that it is all being used as a diversion from South Africa's main issues. So it's important to talk about the Israeli issues because there's something deeper at play. And some of it is that South Africa has sold its foreign policy to Islamist-aligned regimes, whether it be through the Muslim Brotherhood or Iran or who cares where. But the reality is it will have a long-term impact on a country with a vast majority Christian population. And it's important to understand that. And for everybody that doesn't understand that and gets all upset by it, I'm sorry that you've been so hurt by these comments. But this is the reality. I'm not being paid for this. I'm not shilling for anybody. I'm simply talking about the topics as they are. If you don't like that, well, nothing I can do to help you. So moving then on to the stories of today. And the first story is around Lieutenant General Mkhonazi. This is the KZN Police Commissioner, the Hero Commissioner, who talked about the dismantling of the Political Killings Task Force. Now, he's accused rogue political forces of sabotaging the fight against political killings after the letter written to him demanded the disbanding of the Political Killings Task Force team. Now, the police minister, Senzo, says that he didn't actually write that letter. And he says that someone made him sign it. Who made him sign it? Don't know. Now, the disbandment was to allegedly protect politically connected murder suspects, which included the cat who was linked to ANC-aligned individuals. Now, Mkhonazi alleged that junior officers were colluding with politicians, and he cited WhatsApp exchanges between officers and a deputy minister. Which deputy minister? I'm not sure. Now, he accused crime intelligence of deep corruption, and this included the misuse of secret funds to build walls around ministers' homes for leverage. Now, the police commissioner had told Parliament that crime intelligence has done a lot of bad things. What those bad things are, don't know. And he called for a total shutdown of the unit, that's the crime intelligence unit, to root out rogue elements which have been entrenched in it since 2011. He said the whistleblowers are afraid to speak and warned that the country is going to burn when the truth comes out. Now, the Hero Police Commissioner did allege that he tried to reach the former police minister directly to discuss the dissolution of the political task force team. He sent WhatsApp messages pleading for a meeting with him, and apparently the National Commissioner and the Crime Intelligence boss and the Counterintelligence head and other individuals all got involved instead. Now, this led to the police commissioner alleging that ANC cadres effectively had unauthorized access to SAPS matters despite being purely political figures. So he said this was the highest infiltration that you can think of. Now, the police minister, the former police minister, acknowledged receiving the message and also said that he never responded. Now, the police commissioner has warned that political meddling within SAPS is demoralizing rank-and-file officers and threatens internal stability. And he's saying what the ANC has effectively done is destroyed SAPS from the inside out. So yeah, this entire story is going to collapse the ANC. So on to the next news story. And this is the news story that the former President Kgalema and the Minister Parks has called for an urgent review of BEE. Funny how Cyril says BEE is the future of South Africa, it's the only thing that's going, and now they're kind of realizing that it's a problem because apparently they have realized that it is enriching a tiny elite through corruption. Who knew apart from everyone? Now, they've noted that around R1 trillion in BE deals have benefited only around 100 individuals, and it has created a non-broad-based economic empowerment, but is instead being used as tokenism and fake compliance in order to use BEE as a vehicle for cronyism and self-enrichment through ANC-connected elites. And you know who admitted this? It was the Trade and Industry Minister Parks himself. So this isn't just some colloquial individual, like even the ministers are noting it. Now, economists such as Dawie Roots have argued for some time that BEE redistributes existing wealth to insiders without creating new value, and he calls it a system of elite enrichment. Some analysts have said in principle this sounds fine, but the application of BEE is corrupt. It locks millions out of the economy, and many individuals are now calling to replace the race-based redistribution with skills-based empowerment, education reform, and safe environments for real entrepreneurship. And this is after some industries are already starting to adopt new versions of BEE, where you basically invest in education and local infrastructure and don't just give away equity to cronies. We've seen this suggested in situations such as the telecommunications industry for Elon Musk. But in any case, talking of economic collapse, the ANC's NEC met and they declared at their meeting an economic emergency, announcing a 10-point recovery plan focused on energy, logistics, infrastructure, and SMME support, because they've realized the economy is in shambles and it's all been caused because of them. And now they're like, don't worry, we'll fix what we broke. Now, Cyril Ramaphosa has said that a new economic war room will track performance and publish process reports, because nothing says let's fix the economy by creating another, war room, council, review process, all the usual rubbish the ANC does. Now, apparently, according to these individuals, their 10 priorities include driving activity via electricity tariffs and new transmission lines, rebuilding the chrome and manganese sectors, strengthening project management and municipal delivery, and expanding public employment and skills programs. Oh, right, so the state is going to employ more people, and that's how we're going to fix the economy. Who's going to pay for all of that, Cyril? Taxes? Taxes don't equal economic growth, my bud. Now, critics are saying that the ANC is attempting to fix what it broke, and that after 15 years of failed industrial and infrastructure policy, they're now saying, trust us, Gao, we'll fix it. We don't trust you because we know you're corrupt. Now, Dawie Roots says that the ANC's centralized ideology and BEE obsession are the root causes of stagnation in the economy, with corruption and cadre deployment draining productivity. And considering that Parks has already acknowledged this, it's 100% true. So despite the rhetoric, the ANC insists that its policies are non-negotiable, but now they're saying they are negotiable, but they aren't negotiable. These guys they're not a serious political party. And we can see that in the next news story, and that is that the Deputy Finance Minister has warned that South African cities, except Cape Town is the exception, are all in a death spiral. Now, municipalities are overspending on salaries and underspending on infrastructure and causing water, power, and refuse crises. Yeah, that's 100% correct. Like everywhere we see, they all have the same problems. Now, Treasury is offering conditional grants for towns that ring-fence utilities and manage budgets properly. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work, but anyway, apparently the Deputy Finance Minister has called for a legal framework for coalition governments, saying that the GNU lacks discipline and accountability. He confirms plan to run for the DA federal chair, possibly replacing Helen Zille. And so he's saying that this is the way that we can fix South Africa's death spiral of the municipalities. And I don't buy any of this, because the ANC will not let go of local government. Local government is where they can siphon off the most mullah, and they are not letting go of that. Now, talking of the ANC siphoning off mullah, you will recall that in the last couple of days, we've been talking about the story around the ANC's liquidation. This is after the elections company, which provided posters to the ANC, wasn't paid. Now, I must say that I have had a tip from a whistleblower. I can't name the whistleblower, but I have had a personal tip from a whistleblower who actually worked as a forensic expert on that case. Now, that expert told me that one of the reasons that the ANC's bill ballooned to 115 million was because the ANC had falsified WhatsApp messages to fabricate a collusion claim. This was exposed in court by his forensic analysis, and that ultimately what this meant is that the ANC had a cost order attached against them, basically for lying. He then said that after losing the appeal, the ANC's bank accounts were attached, but they secretly did a deal with the owner of the investments company, who said that they would accept a 30 million rand payment from the ANC and that they bypass the actual liquidation process as the legal firms. But in exchange, the ANC had promised future election work, which included printing of banners and posters, so more of the same. Now, the owner of that investment company is cited as being very deeply loyal to the ANC. Now, the forensic expert did also highlight to me at the same time this all occurred, the South African government filed this genocide claim against Israel at the ICC, and as you know, rumors emerged that Iran financed the ANC via MTN to push the case. But the whistleblower says that he believes the claim that Iran was funding the ANC and that this link was true based on the work that he did in this case. Whether or not any of it is true, I don't know. I'm just repeating what the whistleblower cited. So on to the next and final news story. And this is around the floaty boaties. And I hate to do this topic again, but as you know, Mandela, who was detained by Israel after the global floaty boatie event, which had been intercepted on international waters, says that now that he's returned to South Africa from Israel, he's going to tell us what happened. He says that he was stripped, mocked, and denied showers, saying that Israeli forces targeted them in retaliation for South Africa's ICJ genocide case. I don't believe a word he's bloody saying, because his wife the other day was telling his kids that he's going to get murdered by the Israelis. Like these guys are cooked in the head. But apparently Mandela and many of the other individuals who went over on the floaty boaties described the humiliation and abuse that they suffered during the 6 days in the prison where they were held, waiting to be deported. I don't know what these people are suggesting happened, because we've seen the pictures and they all just stood around in a room waiting for their number to be called so they could be sent home. Like, I don't know what these people are saying. But despite his wife being on TV saying he's going to get killed and daddy's not going to come home and he's had all this humiliation treatment and it's just so terrible, he has vowed that he will return for floaty boatie number 2. Yep, version 2 is going to set sail. I mean, I'm not being funny, but if it was that horrible and your life was in peril, that you were even telling your kids that you were going to die in captivity, surely you wouldn't go back. But you see, this is all part of the performance that they're making. It's all a giant lie. It's a PR stunt. Now, the Department of International Relations plans to investigate alleged Israeli embassy misinformation that basically the South African government had to pay for these guys to come home, with the Israeli embassy claiming that South African taxpayers were going to have to fund to repatriate these individuals. But according to Durko, note these individuals raised the money themselves. Now, according to the news article, the actual cost of these individuals doing this entire stunt were over 200,000 rand each. Tell me where the money came from. Apparently they came from NGOs. Which NGOs? I'd love to know. Is it the Nelson Mandela Foundation? Is it George Soros linked? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But what I do know is that if you went to a foreign land where you got treated in the manner described, you wouldn't go back. But apparently this guy's journey too willing to go back, even though it was the most humiliating and difficult thing he had ever done in his life. I mean, these guys are just full of crap. But that's just my opinions. Do let me know what you think in the comment section below. Until tomorrow, bye.